parasocial relationships. When I was just starting with the YouTube stuff, like 1,000 subs or less or whatever, sometimes I would just chat with people on Twitter, like followers, to like just say hello to them or whatever. None of these conversations were sexual or even like friendly. It was mostly like, oh, I noticed that you say you worked on this project in your bio. Was that cool? You know, now from these conversations, nothing really interesting happened. And at the time, I was a small enough content creator that there wasn't really like this big, like swell of energy towards me. You know what I mean? Like messaging me at that point wouldn't even have been like a niche internet micro celebrity. It would have just been like, oh, this guy with a tiny YouTube channel says hi, I'll say hi, whatever. So everything was fine. If I DM'd some fans who follow me now, totally like impromptu, a lot of them would lose their mind. I've opened DMs on Twitter. I get a lot of DMs, and a lot of you are losing your mind without any engagement from me. I used to try to respond to all the DMs I get. Now I can't do that anymore. Try to respond to all the emails I get. Even that I can't always do. You know, it's just not possible. Try to respond to the important ones. People DM me real nice stuff. I respond if it's fan art, you know? I respond if there's something really substantial. Sometimes people will message me and they'll be like, hey, you got me out of a really dark place. Your content really helped me. Really appreciate what you've done for me, man. When I see stuff like that, I'm only human. My heart is soft. Oftentimes I respond, hey, I really appreciate that. Or just say like heart or something, because I'm sure they understand that I have a lot of DMs, so, you know, but I see it. Like I'm acknowledging, I've seen your message and I appreciate it. Usually that's fine. 99% of the time that's fine. But sometimes I'll give a heart or I'll say, hey, I really appreciate that. Glad I could be helpful. And I get a lot in return because they've given a bit of attention to me. I gave them a bit back and they're like, oh, it's on. The door has been opened. You know, they knock on my door. They thank me through the door. I open it up a crack so I can say thank you. And they put their foot in the crack and they're like, thank you for opening the... They're trying to like force it open. Now, of course, the benefit of DMs as a format is that I can just not respond. You know, sometimes you freaks, you try to get my attention in other more manipulative ways. Like, talking about self-harm or personal unwellness, or just sending me a bunch of nudes. You know, you psychopaths. Now, obviously, I being a responsible and extremely well-tempered adult YouTuber, make an effort to not engage with the extreme emotions of the small portion of my fan base who would react negatively to perceived parasocial attention, because I understand how substantial that attention can be. Like, a good example from my perspective, I don't feel like strong parasocial relationships with most people. I really like Joseph Anderson, the streamer and YouTuber. Very, very fond of him. Mostly, I think, because I appreciate his content. I don't think there's a strong imbalance there in terms of, like, perceived engagement. For me, specifically, the closest example I would have to think of would be Destiny, right? I would have gotten into the YouTube stuff if it weren't for the series of events that transpired by way of me being a part of his community. And certainly, like 10 years ago, I thought quite highly of him. If that engagement was significant enough to put me where I am now, you know, I can fully sympathize with people having strong relationships with content creators they follow. You know, perhaps even to the point where they might be like, I don't know, more vulnerable to getting their feelings hurt for that engagement, right? The point that I'm trying to get at here is that everyone forms parasocial bonds to someone, and that's normal. That's reasonable in an era of mass media. But if you feel that way, it's very, very important to understand those feelings and what they are. No matter who you're talking to or why, have a realistic understanding of how they perceive you and of how you're reacting to any attention you ever receive. Don't allow yourself to fall into these patterns or get tripped up in this thinking that is so common to people who are victimized by the small portion of content creators who do abuse that parasocial attention. I'm reminded of all those Smash players, you know? They get some attention from a audience of, let's say, mixed ages, they turn a bit of attention backwards. And if you've got an audience of hundreds of thousands of people, guaranteed there will be people in your audience who will fall over and do anything for you. Obviously, if you're a content creator, you shouldn't abuse people in that way. But likewise, if you're a fan of somebody, just make an effort to engage critically with the feelings you have for them. Okay, sorry, I have to check out. I thought I could stream more today. I'm sorry.